Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, is a movie about the fall of former Birdman actor Regan Thompson and his attempt at re-establishing himself in the limelight through a Broadway production. What's cool about this movie is it kind of parallels a lot of actors in real life, like in this instance, Regan Thompson and Michael Keaton, where Michael Keaton, before he started as Batman, he wasn't necessarily the first Batman, but I want to say the first film version of Batman. I might be getting that wrong. Who cares? He did two Batman movies, Batman and Batman Returns. I'm pretty sure it was Batman Returns. And after that, he decided to split off and then go into a more artistic view because he didn't want to be typecasted as a superhero, just like the character in the movie Regan Thompson. Instead of 2 movies, he did 3 Birdman movies, and he essentially paved the way for all the other superhero films to come after. That's one of the first parallels throughout the series. Is not directly a character in the film's universe, but just the actor that portrays that character, which is interesting in itself. The motifs that are spread throughout the film are like existence and purpose, reality, fantasy, personas, and perspectives. This is a whole bunch of, it's very philosophical in a way. Kind of like The Matrix was, very philosophical movie, but they aren't all as in your face with it like the Wachowskis usually are. Reagan's daughter is just was like a former drug addict. There's this one guy in Mike Shiner, Edward Norton's character, who's just trying to like stay alive in the Broadway environment, which is a very competitive environment because you have to be the best, otherwise no one gives a shit about you. Kind of like how the acting world is, but it's more raw. All these characters go through these feelings that they just aren't good enough or that they don't matter. And that's one of the biggest motifs about the movie. It's just their overall purpose. And then another thing throughout the movie is reality and fantasy. How Mike Shiner's character portrays the reality of the world. Everything he wants everything to be realistic throughout the movie. During the play, his character's a drunk, so he switches out the water for gin because gin's basically like pussy shit. Like, if he actually wants to portray the role, he needs to be that role. Kind of like how like a method actor would try to portray their character. He's basically just trying to method act. And everything that he sees on the set that isn't authentic, he brings up to Regan. Like the gun that Regan later uses to try to kill himself with. In the beginning, it was just this fake, like, plastic gun. But then Mike's just like, I can see that it's fake. Come on, man. Have some fucking self-respect. And Regan just more embodies, like, the fantasy aspect of everything, because he was this former actor who does not have the fame that he wants before, but he keeps reeling. He keeps hoping that through this one production, this one single Broadway production that he's poured in all his finances into, poured in all of his heart, all of his effort, and including his sanity, unless he was already insane to begin with, just so he could rise back up and be something, because that is something that he wants to be. All the insane possibilities always happen to him, like him possessing some form of telekinesis, which let's be honest here, he's not actually floating in the beginning of the movie. It's all in his head, but it makes you, what's interesting about this movie is because it's a superhero film, it makes you think that maybe, just maybe he is doing all these things. Maybe he is a real life Birdman. Who knows? We don't know yet until we get to the end of the movie and you kind of realize that no, he's just one crazy motherfucker. That's cemented by the fact that in the end of the movie, he tries to kill himself, messes up somehow, I don't know how, shoots off his nose and he gets a new nose. He's finally got what he's wanted, he's famous again, the play was a success. He's pretty much like at the top now. He goes to the bathroom, looks at his new nose, which is, oh man, it's an ugly ass nose. It's disgusting. He just goes ahead to the window. He looks out, he sees some birds flying, and he decides, I'm gonna fly just like those birds. Then you see his daughter come into the room, and then she looks out the window and she realizes that he jumped out. They leave the ending ambiguous as to whether or not how she perceived Regan at that point. So, in a realistic sense, he jumped out the window, thought he could fly, and splattered onto the ground. And I think this because you can hear sirens at the end of the movie, so I'm not sure why it's really that ambiguous. But in the ending, what she does is she looks up, smiles, and starts laughing. And instead of seeing her dad on the ground dead, a dad that she's reconciled with now, because not too long ago she's just,
You're not important. Get used to it.
But now everything was perfect. Everything was the way it should be. But instead of getting that perfect ending that she wanted, she just saw her dad splatter onto the ground, so she decided to imagine something different. She decided to look up and imagine her dad soaring amongst all the birds. because that's the way that she wants to imagine her dad. Not as some dead body on the ground, but as something better than that, something that he kind of was typecasted for, something that he was iconic for, a Birdman.
Yeah. I know where to go. Oh, hey, no, wait! What the?